What's up, traders? Welcome to my stream. Today we're finishing up the week. All my data is pretty much in. This week has been pretty interesting. I'm still dealing with burnout fever for the past month. So, what happens is you get burned out, and your body has a hard time adapting to uh, really hot weather, and you also feel heart palpitations. So I've been getting rid of that. It'll probably take another month or so, but it's been actually pretty rocky for me trying to trade during this time. But I'm gonna getting back into it because we had a lot of movers that broke VWAP and a lot of unexpected movers. Number one mover was Vappy. Vappy, I was thinking this would be a good short because it was up 500%. And sure enough, this stock squeezed their shorts for most of the day on Monday. And then after hitting 80, you would think that a gapper that's up 500% will immediately sell off. Most of the time it does, but sometimes it goes up from, in this situation, 50 to 80, and then pretty much died. So I was initially trying to short it, and then it actually tanked after we hit 80. The next ticker was CLC. CLC on Monday was a gap up short. The flow was like 10, 20, 30 million or something, or 50 million. I don't really remember. Finviz, Chelk. It was a higher float. So therefore it was, here we go, it was a 33 milli float. So this was a much higher float. So it was gapping up from 14 up to 40. And that was the good short to do. It was actually just hovering around VWAP and then eventually rolled over. I eventually started short at 35 and at 40, covered at 35 right on the VWAP bounce. So that was decent. That was the only good trade on Monday. Let's see, we're going to talk about here the 25. Sorry, I'm trying to get all the data here, the 25. Let's see if we got all the data here. The 25. Sorry, it's the 28th to 25. So 28. So this is 28th. So VWAV was, sorry, I think my video just went out. That's just fine because it was out of batteries. So let's see, we can do right here. Right here, my video went out, so we're gonna put it over here. So there we go. Sorry about that. My video went out because it was out of batteries. So we're gonna get the main camera here. I'm using the desktop camera. So we had VWAV here. This was a VWAV reclaim, or happened around right here about 10. Went long. I actually traded it from $4 up to 6 or 6.7. This was the big mover of the day. So on Monday we had three movers. Selk was a short. Vape, it actually kept going from 50 to pretty much 80. And VWAP, we had VWAP reclaim here at around 10, and then it never looked back. So this was one of the first stocks that pretty much breaks pre-market highs and keeps going. And it actually squeezed the shorts out, and it pretty much only didn't even give that much. Only the next day we kind of gapped down. So a couple things to remember, a couple notes here. Try not to short the first green day because sometimes more, some of these tickers pretty much keep going. Let me charge the camera real quick. Some of the tickers keep going, and you might find yourself into a squeeze from 5 to 12. Like me a minute. There we go, charging the camera now. It should be charging. So try not to short the first green day, because what happens is if you do that, it will probably squeeze you out from 5 to 12. Selk, this was the gapper of Monday. This was a 30 milli flow to go for a gap up short. And VAPE, this is a 500% micro flow that gapped up on Monday. And it kept going till 80 until it pretty much reversed. So a couple of notes here, just because it's up 500% doesn't mean it can't keep going. And number two is just because, just because you think it cannot go any higher the first green day, it can't. So those are like, those are the notes here. 500% microflow gappers can keep going and you can get squeezed before eventually rolling over. And VWAP reclaim, just because it's up from 3 to like 8 doesn't mean it cannot keep going. Those are actually the notes here. Try not to short the first green day, and try to not short 500% gappers. Micro floats. Usually most of these sell off, but in this situation we actually pushed through 80 before actually selling off. So moving on to Tuesday. Tuesday was a little bit different. DRRX, I was watching this one for a higher high. It went flatline, and only actually after 930 or 940 we broke pre-market highs of 220 and we ran a bit to 2464. This was a much thicker stock. We had STI here. STI was a stock that we were looking at it at the morning. We finally broke the wedge here. So as soon as we broke the wedge, I should have longed it. I actually longed it at 125 and I actually sold it at 125. You can see in this situation we had 20% profit. I should have taken it off, or taken it off when I see 10%, or at least half when I see 10%, because I didn't really buy it correctly. So eventually I didn't make any money on STI. DRRX, I bought it and I didn't sell for 10%. STI, I bought it and I didn't sell for 10%. And CLDI, I bought it over here and I had a rain, storm over here. So eventually I dumped it for flat. I didn't make any money that day. So Tuesday for me was actually flat. But you can see in many of these situations, not taking 10% gains, you would get an empty bag. So those are the notes for Tuesday. Wednesday, I actually started growing green again. As you can see, BGLC, nice chart, decent flow, great news. The news was acquisition. We broke the wedge. I buy it, I sell it for 10%. I buy it, I sell it for 10%, and then I eventually go short, and I pretty much had a huge gain for shorting from $8 down to $6.80, and I actually held another piece there. So I should have held most of the day, because we came down to freaking 6 from 8 short. So that was a very decent short. I did pretty well here. Then you had Repl. Repl was actually a really high institutionally owned stock. You can see, so Repl, high institutionally owned stock, about 95% of it. And a lot of traders were like, what the hell am I supposed to do with it? It's a huge float, 62 million, institutionally owned 98%, insider owned 20%. So the float available for the public is pretty much minuscule. So whatever they did here, they trapped a lot of shorts as soon as this thing tanked. And then most of the time, this thing should have rolled over. But, this, due to the fact that it's a 92% institution, they reclaimed it and did whatever the hell they wanted. So I always advise to pretty much try to stay long the first green day if it's a highly institutionally owned / insider stock. Because just because it's a 68 milli float with 600 million market cap does not mean it cannot keep going. Just keep that in mind. Even though it was up, I don't know, it was opening up 70%. Moving on to this, I actually ended up going green on it. Actually, I should have held my long, because I was adding into this dip here, and then I was trying to go short here, and then I got chopped out over here 2 times. So Repl, and then you had VWAP over here. VWAP pretty much broke yesterday's high, 806. I buy it because I don't see it over here. I bought it right out of the halt at around 940, 950. I eventually sell it for 10%, but you can see in this situation we actually made 20% after I bought it, because I could chase it up. So if you chase it up, I only made 10% from here, even though the breakout point was 8 and we went to a high of 12. So there was 50% to be made here on the first green day bounces. VWAP broke yesterday's high. So these are good trades. BGLC, Repo, VWAV, and XBP. XBP was here, pretty much here. We popped up, go straight up, break 52-week high, 190. I tried to buy it as we come back to VWAP. It was ended up being a loss and then pretty much sold off. So we did break all-time highs here in this ticker as this ticker popped up, and we actually unwinded. There was some opportunity over here, but I only wanted to buy the VWAP bounce and it didn't work and I got out. Moving on to SNGX. This is actually Thursday. SNGX, I buy it over here as we broke the downtrend, buy it around $2. We went to 220. I unloaded, buy it again at $2, sell it again at 225, buy it again 235, sell it 245, buy it again at 240, and then I sell it at 270. So I made a bunch of money here, and this applies to the same thing. Just because it's it's up from 150 up to $3 doesn't mean it cannot keep going. This situation, this thing squeezed to 538. So keep that in mind that these tickers do go. This was phase 2, and try not to short the first green day, because that's what is possible. And if you do short, try to limit your shorts. Try not to short. XBP was a good short. SNGX was a bad short, and PBM here, crappy chart with no news, was a great short. So trying to distinguish between the hot chick of the day that everybody's watching and the stock nobody's watching, where you can pretty much time your short in, or XBP. Try not to short the hottest stock of the day. If you're making money long, try not to flip short and be like, this cannot go any higher, because this will rip your jaw off. Whenever I find myself in a position where I make money long and then I say I don't think it's going to go any higher, I get my ass handed to me here from 150 up to 550. So just if you're making money long, try not to flip short. And if you're not making money long, try to flip short. Kind of what I'm trying to say here. You can see here that this is the only ticker that I actually went short, which was BGLC, because we actually pushed to the pre-market highs and we failed. And then we came back down. So this was the indication for me to go short, because we broke here, we hit pre-market highs, and we kind of wobbled here. So I shorted the bounce and then come back. So this was a good stocks to go short, because we pushed pre-market highs, and if it was strong enough, we should have kept going, but it was not. So we rolled over. So that's why I made money on BGLC. But once you see a stock VWAP reclaim and it just doesn't make a lower low, and it just holds trend and makes higher trend and then goes vertical, you shouldn't be like, hey, I just cannot go any higher, because it will squeeze you from 3 to 6. Sure enough, that's actually what happened on Tuesday. On Monday, there was a ticker VWAV here, that VWAP reclaim. It'll almost looked exactly as the Thursday mover. We VWAP reclaim, break pre-market highs, and we keep going. So this is a very hard ticker to trade. Once it VWAP reclaims, it could squeeze you. This thing went from 150 to 550. So try not to short it and be like, this cannot go any higher. Because there were other tickers that were worth shorting, so forth. So moving on to Friday, the last day of the week. Actually, this was the best day of the week. Actually, my best day was I think on Wednesday, and I think on Friday. Monday and Tuesday were just rocky for me, because I couldn't really comprehend. It was a 500. You can see here I really couldn't comprehend. There was a 500% gap up of this ticker, and this ticker kept going. Like, it was very rare a ticker holds VWAP over here when it's up 500% from 10 to like 8 to 10 to like 80, and it's still not selling off. Very rare. And this ticker VWAP, I nailed it correctly long, and then I got myself short soon enough. Glad I covered, because I would have ate a big loss. So you can see these VWAP reclaims, pre-market breakout, opening range breakout, just kept going. VWAP and these are pretty much identical. VWAP and SNGX. These are just ridiculous short squeezes that happen here. And I think, and moving on to Friday, Friday was pretty good day. We had MWYN stock with no news. We pop up over here from 120 up to 195. We have a triple top. I go short 176. I come back down. I actually longed it on the way up and then shorted on the way down. MYN, it was a no-brainer because it didn't have news and it was just making new lows, and we just pop up on volume and go straight down. A lot of traders said you could see the triple top at 195, the ones that I was calling about, because pretty much rolled over. The other ticker was Lobo that came into my radar right at the market open. We pop up at 55, we go straight up to $1. I kind of sell 55 to 75, and then I relonged it again at like 80, sell it at $1. We ended up chopping out here to 124. So that was a pretty decent T-non. I was interested in the morning, but then I missed the pre-market high breakout of 150, break 150, go to 280, 250. And then I was like, hey, we already had 4 movers that day. This is not likely going to keep going. So soon enough, it sold off. Should have taken some shorts, but I did not. Beat high, I was buying it. Lots of choppiness. You can see all these wicks over here. Eventually, we do break 180, and then we don't make more than 30 cents. We hit the resistance around 210. We had some resistance 227, then pretty much just went straight down. I actually thought that this ticker is going to be something spectacular, considering the fact that we had, I think the news was the last visit phase 3 trial. So that wasn't that great of a news that to get this thing going. T-non, pre-market high breakout, missed it on Friday. It went going. Lobo, I bought it, I sold it, bought it, sold it. And then MYN was buying it on the way up, shorted it. And beta, I was chopped out over here, and eventually I was chopping out in beta. So my Friday was great. You can see that my P&L on Friday was really good. But there was a lot of days in which I was struggling. You can see that my Thursday was pretty good as well. You can see my Thursday was pretty good as well. As soon as I did realize that I need to take profits when I'm up 10%, and then flip short when it rejects pre-market highs, that's when things started changing. Same thing, Ripple was just a difficult one because it was a high float. VWAV, if I took 10%, I had multiple times 20% before selling off. Next BP was just a flat, but you can see that in many situations, try not to go short if it went from 150 to $3, because you might get squeezed right here and it was going to be very hurtful. That's probably what I have to say. And don't get stubborn going long on a ticker, because sometimes you just buy it very correctly and it just chops around before selling off. So you have to be mindful that that is a possibility. I actually took my losses very well here. Raya, I bought it as we break pre-market highs at 7, and that's just part of doing business. And VRME is just a choppy ticker. That was a choppy ticker. So my problem was this week, I think, shorting, just because you think it cannot go any higher. On Thursday, the ticker that I was having trouble with was SNGX, because I couldn't fathom the fact that, one ticker from 150, 170 here went to like 350 and it kept going to 580. I couldn't fathom that fact. And trying to short front side will get you annihilated. So wait for the back side to set in and then try to short. And soon enough, I thought the front side is over here. I thought the back side is over here or here or here or here, but it actually was over here though. This was the backside of SNGX. And try not to go short too soon, because you will get pretty much annihilated. And try to take 10% profits. And just because it's up 500% does not mean it's a gap up short, because there was another trader that lost on this one trying to go short. Eventually it rolled over. You can see a couple of days later it was at 35 or 30. But you cannot be stubborn and be like, hey, it's gapping up 500%. It's a microflow. Can I go any higher? I should short it, because they will squeeze it up to 80 and then pretty much roll it over. So holding on to your stops, taking profits when you're up 10%, and try not to short a stock that keeps going up. And if you do short that stock that keeps going up, have a plan to get out of it, because it might go higher. Like much more higher than we all think. In this situation, it went from 350 to 12. So wherever you shorted, you're in a world of hurt. So those are like kind of like my notes. Take 10% profit and don't be stubborn on your shorts. Other than that, everything was good. You can see so that on Tuesday, I had multiple times where I was up 10% and I didn't take it. I was up in STI 10%, I didn't take it. I was up in DRX 10%, I didn't take it. CLDI, I was up 10% and I didn't take it. So Tuesday, I did not take profits when I should have. And VWAP, I was trying to short, and I shorted front side, and you should not do that because SNGX again I shorted front side. So try not to short front side, especially if it's the first green day and it keeps on going up, because it will squeeze you to hell, even though the whole entire market crashes and there's no other tickers. And take 10% gains. Those are like my mistakes that I did, because multiple days I didn't take 10% and they kept coming back. Because my stop loss management was pretty good. The only stop loss management that was not good is when I shorted front side, trying to shorten this thing. That's when my stop loss was not good, and I was not not good with that. On that, we're going to start out with the next week. Next week is going to be a pretty interesting week. We'll be live streaming on YouTube for about an hour and then going into my Discord room. Other than that, see you all later and peace out.